Hey guys, Richard here, and welcome back to another reaction and review. And this is to episode, what episode is it? Episode 19 of MLP, which is On the Road to Friendship. And I believe this is a Starlight and Trixie episode, which is, I know, going to be adorable. So, I'm looking forward to seeing this and seeing what happens. Hopefully it will be cute. So, let's begin, shall we? Starting the video in 3, 2, 1, click.
I don't know, folks. She's been in there a long time. Do you suppose the terrifying trunk escape is too much for her? The great and powerful Trixie can't escape.
Poof.
But if you're there, who's in here?
What would be like a dead body?
Here, of course.
Granny!
Crab apple surprise! You should ought to tell a pony before you go pooping them around the stage!
Adorable.
Trixie, that was an amazing show.
Flurry Heart and I loved it. I'm so glad we decided to come. You two have a real chemistry.
The terrifying trunk escape does
I'll bet
require
fan art
a
shows that
great and
too.
powerful assistant.
The way you two work together, it's like you've known each other as long as Twilight and I have.
It was pretty fun. Of course it was. There's nothing better than a bond with another pony. You can share all kinds of things. Sunshine, sunshine, ladybugs awake. Clap your hooves and do a little shake. I think we'll stick to the stage magic for now.
The great and powerful Trixie doesn't chant.
Adorable. Please. Okay, the road to friendship. Oh my gosh. Don't tell me this is going to be one of those setups where please don't tell me this is going to be the gimmick where in the beginning it sets it up to like, oh, guess what? They're such good friends. And then it's kind of like with Rainbow and Rarity for comparison. Then suddenly something happens and they bicker and argue. Okay, I'll be okay with that, provided, of course, you know, everything's cool in the end. Because I love happy endings.
As much as I love my one pony show, it's always nice to come to Ponyville and perform with my great and powerful assistant. Cadence is right. We do work well together.
Doing a show with you is almost as much fun as counseling students at Twilight School.
Which I'm supposed to be doing right now.
See you later.
Teleportation! Okay, so she can do it very easily.
Excuse me, Miss Powerful.
Usually ponies just call me Trixie, but Ms. Powerful has
Oh,
a
it's
nice ring.
Sonic
From here to
the
Saddle Arabia,
Pone Hog.
I have seen nothing that compares with your wondrous show. Would you consider blessing my homeland with it?
I was just about to set out on tour, but Saddle Arabia is much farther than my usual route. And my caravan might not be suited for an extended tour.
Mine is new and quite spacious. If it would help persuade you, I would happily trade it for yours.
Trade it? Heavens, no! This is more than just some great and powerful wagon you see before you. It is shelter. It is transportation. My
Moonwalking!
only friend on the long and lonely nights on the road.
Very well. Then I must see as many of your performances as I can. If I cannot convince you to bring your tour to Saddle Arabia, I must be prepared to relate its magnificence to your many fans there.
Many fans, you say? Well,
Adorable
I suppose
Trixie.
I could consider the trip.
Wonderful! I look forward to seeing you on the road. And if you change your mind about the caravans, my offer remains open.
It's just so far away. Of course, I love visiting new and exciting places. I am a traveling magician.
Paints me
after
like one
all.
of your French maids.
Sounds like your mind's made up.
Not quite. The road is a lonely place.
Uh-oh.
And this trip even more so.
She'll
I
ask
was
Starlight
hoping
about
I
going.
might convince my great and powerful assistant to come along.
Really?
Of course! You're not just my assistant and my counselor. You're also my friend. And what's better than a road trip with friends? Nothing.
I can relate.
This will be the best magical
Even though,
road trip
I've never been on one.
I should probably get some pony to cover my student counseling duties while we're gone. Trixie, are you all right?
One caravan, two all set. Oh,
Fuzzy, floofy
you
hair.
brought luggage. I mean, of course you brought luggage.
You bet I did. Everything two ponies need for the road trip of their lives. 3 1,000-piece puzzles, 1 copy of Dragon Pit, the best board game in the history of ponies, my famous collection of campfire spices, and an inflatable raft. Did I forget something? I can pop back to the castle and grab it.
Oh no, isn't that?
Yeah, maybe we don't need the raft.
We just needed a little great and powerful.
So this is a road trip thing.
organization.
Okay, cute.
Now everything fits just fine.
That's adorable.
Oh, who am I kidding? My wagon is too small for us. I understand if you're having second thoughts.
Second thoughts? Are you kidding? This wagon isn't small, it's cozy. And there's no such thing as too cozy.
This is like a
All right, then. I
one-person
guess it's time to hit
full
the road.
camper. This is like a one-person full camper that Trixie has.
Okay, maybe there is such a thing as too cozy.
Okay, so
You're sure you wouldn't rather ride?
I'm sure.
I'm good. I
And
don't
you're
want to
not
grow a third
backing out.
arm.
The two of us sleeping in that cozy caravan could get tricky.
Trixie, there's plenty of high-quality inns to stay at on the way. Don't worry about it. I'm not backing out of the greatest and most powerful road trip bonding experience two ponies could ever have.
Well, when you put it like that,
Thing
actually
is, though,
kind of excited. Me too.
with this setup, wouldn't
Thank
it
goodness
be
we're
a
not like Twilight
long
or the
time?
others. They'd probably
Like
sing a
weeks
song
before
about
you
it.
get back? We've only got the span of 20-some minutes. Oh, it's musical. This is so cute. I love it.
We're off
Oh my gosh, just
on
singing.
the road to friendship. Our ride might be tiny and small.
It's walking though, eh, Trix?
I am walking. Road trips are a great way we've been told to get along.
I'm glad we're sticking to it. We've already got a song.
On the road to friendship.
Oh my gosh, that is not safe.
Side by side, just like peas in a pod. Our
And they're dead.
friendship is stronger than this tour's demands.
My offer to trade caravans still stands.
Wait, what did he say?
Nothing. So tight, we can't
This is like a goofy movie, but
We're stuck together 'cause we're friendship bound. Sure is great traveling with you, buddy.
You too, buddy.
this is like, oh great, now they went through heck.
We're off.
So they did die, and they went to heck. Okay.
We've each got the other to blame.
This is adorable though. I love
Any
it.
trip can be exhausting if you make a fuss.
Cute.
But we get on so well that there's no way that could be us. We're off on the road to friendship. And there's nowhere that we'd rather be. Is that off key?
How is
Summer, winter, spring, and fall, we're friends throughout the year. For untold seasons yet to come, our friendship will be here.
Where's the wagon?
We're so tight, we can't move around. Like a race where you tie your hooves together and have to move in perfect synchronization
What?
to win. We're friendship bound.
I love this episode.
Or like a buddy movie where the two protagonists can't get away from each other because they're wearing hoof cuffs.
We're friends.
Oh my gosh, really? You went there? Oh my gosh. That's so cool. I love this episode already.
Oh, the marketplace. Perfect. I've learned the hard way.
Again, this is like a goofy movie, but with Trixie and Starlight, and the wagon is the
And we
AMC
only have
Pacer.
so many bits, so we'll have to spend them wisely.
Lee.
Sorry about wasting bits on street food.
Oh, it's fine. Falafel bonding, right? Besides, we still have enough for hay cakes and juice.
Why don't we go there?
Oh, no. I always buy my hay cakes here.
So we're just going to wait in line for hours, which is totally cool. Waiting in line bonding, right?
After our falafel
Hey, we're back here
purchase,
again.
we weren't able to get everything on my list, but we are definitely set for breakfast.
And I'm sure we'll find out that waiting in that super long line was worth it.
A few hiccups always happen. We'll be back on the road to friendship after a good night's sleep. Roll full.
What?
I'm sure we'll find something.
Nope.
Sorry.
All full!
Ah, the Glow Pass Festival. Some nebula is no doubt filled to the brim. Luckily, travelers such as ourselves have our caravans.
You said there'd be plenty of places to stay. Don't even worry about it, you said. You might have thought to make a reservation.
I've been with you singing
there
and
are
standing in
arguing.
line.
I knew it.
When would I have done that?
I don't know, but I'm starting to think you aren't as great and powerful an assistant as I thought.
So you just brought me along to do your legwork?
No, of course not. I'm sorry. I'm just frustrated. I was really looking forward to a relaxing night in a nice room.
Oh, me too. But since
Well-
there's literally no room at the inns, I guess it's lucky we've got the wagon.
Why not sleep outside?
Sleeping in tight quarters bonding.
Yay!
Ouch.
Is
Ow!
there something I can do to make things more comfortable for you?
You could get rid of this junk.
Yes. Well, before we throw away the magical items it's taken me years to collect, we could try switching hammocks.
How long will that go on in the episode? Oh, okay. No, get. Oh, okay.
Starlight! Starlight!
So that's where the Super Mario Stars went.
Animal outside!
Trixie had him the whole time.
Starlight! Starlight!
What?
I'm sorry. Your snoring is a bit,
Loud? Yeah, I do that. I had my village convinced we were being attacked by bears every night. But we probably need a better solution here.
Now I want to see setup where that works.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Where Starlight and Sunburst go on a road trip together.
Seriously? Prepare to be amazed.
Oh dear.
Sleep well.
Sure did.
Oh, I love this early morning setup.
Is that the last of the hay cakes?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
It's fine.
I don't suppose there's, more juice.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to resupply.
What a glorious morning! I can't tell you how much I am looking forward to the first show of your tour.
Is he gonna be following us for the whole time?
That was kind of what I was wondering. Like,
No.
why is this guy following them?
She's been
Kinda
in
got a
there
stalker.
a long time. Do you suppose the terrifying trunk escape is too much for a pony who drinks all the juice and talks nonstop in her sleep? What if the great and powerful Trixie can't...
Sleep? Because her roommate snores like an Ursa Major?
But if you're there, who's in here?
Granny!
There's not much room in here.
At least you don't have to sleep in it with another pony!
We're just gonna lock you back in. No big deal.
This show is much better in Ponyville.
Oh, would you like the last carrot? I know how fond you are of eating the last of things.
Oh no, it might make me thirsty, and we don't have anything to drink, so...
The good news
What's the
is,
carrot?
I'm so exhausted I could sleep through a stampede of wild boars, which you'll be delighted to know is only slightly louder than your snoring.
Well, I'm looking forward to rehearsing the act with you all night. So diligent of you to go over it and over it in your sleep.
Practice makes perfect.
Not today, it didn't.
Well, I'm sorry you're so miserable.
Really? Because if you wanted to make things more comfortable, you could always pare down a bit.
Well, since you're so concerned about space, you can have it all. I'll sleep under the stars where at least the wild animals will be quieter than you.
I do not mean to interrupt, but it seems there is trouble on the road to friendship.
You think?
Where's my wagon?
I traded it to that pony from Saddle Arabia for his. He even threw in a pair of robes.
Oh dear!
You what?
I traded the old, worn-out wagon that was too small for us for this nice, new, spacious one that we can both enjoy.
Who said you could do that?
No, Pony, I just did it.
I won't deny right
Now
here
we
Starlight
both
was
have
in the
plenty of
wrong.
room, and you didn't even have to give anything away.
Except for her home.
Au contraire. I did give something away. I gave away my wagon and my best friend.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were better friends with that beat-up old wagon than you are with me.
Well, it's easy when the wagon is a better friend. It would have never traded you away.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, it is ridiculous. In fact, this whole tour is ridiculous. I don't even know why I invited you in the first place.
Oh, well, maybe I should just head home.
I think that's a very good idea. And you can take this horrible giant caravan with you.
Fine.
Good.
Ah! Ow. Her wagon.
Goodness! Oh, Miss Powerful. But where is your assistant? I had hoped providing you with a more comfortable means of conveyance would allow you to once more dazzle the crowds with mystifying feats of magic.
Normally, that sort of flattery would suffice. But today, we must discuss your dishonest and unfair procurement of my wagon.
I desired your wagon and provided one of equal or better value in return. It seems like a perfectly honest and fair trade to me.
Unfortunately, it is more nuanced than that.
I'm sure it is, but I am eager to set out, if you'll excuse me.
Just run me over.
As long as you are.
We'll just see about that.
Just ask to trade back.
You know, even if I was willing to reverse the trade, you don't have my caravan to offer in return.
Details!
You all seemed a lot less threatening when there were two of us. This place is awful. How did I not see it before?
Ghastly Gorge.
It's one of those traveling ponies.
Hey, they made
This
up!
song really inspired us. We decided we need to head off on the road to friendship, too. It sure beats the road to deliveries.
Oh, I love them!
Sometimes traveling together is hard. You reminded us you can also make it fun. Thanks again.
I love them. They're adorable. I'm glad they made up.
Steaming hot beverage?
Thank
No, I'm just-
you, no.
I'm just waiting for the vultures.
What are you two doing?
Taking a stand by lying down. Not that you care, wagon trader aware.
I'm afraid I'm still not interested, despite your assistant's convenient appearance.
Trixie, I came back to apologize. I should never have traded away the wagon. It wasn't mine to trade. It belongs to my friend.
If you truly were friends, I suppose I'd be honor bound to reverse the trade.
Okay, fine. We're friends. Best friends who share a deep bond but weren't prepared for the emotional challenges of traveling. Happy?
I'm still unconvinced. Perhaps you could prove your friendship.
How?
Oh, we could do our friendship chant.
All right. Our world famous chant of friendship.
Are you
that
gonna
we
tie
do
him
all the
up?
time because we're such great friends.
Or are you going to pretend to make out?
Magic, magic, puff of smoke. One wave your hooves.
Needs a little work.
A little choke.
That was the worst friendship chant I have ever heard. And you two were clearly making it up as you went. But only true friends would be willing to act so ridiculous for one another.
So you'll give back the wagon?
Though I'd suggest heading back to Ponyville. I'm not sure Saddle Arabia is ready for this.
That's fair. I'm sorry your Saddle Arabian tour was ruined.
Honestly, I don't think I could have stood one more second on the road. At a certain point, I don't even like traveling with myself.
It is a lot harder than I thought. Still, I'm glad we tried. Mostly so we know not to do it again.
I think it's made our friendship greater and more powerful than ever.
Indeed.
You know,
Oh,
there's
you're-
actually plenty of room in here for one pony nap. Is the show over?
Oh, okay, this was a cute episode. This was a very cute episode. I adore it. I really adore this episode. I really, really adore this episode. This was a very interesting setup. It's definitely one we haven't really seen a setup like this before. So this was very, very Trixie, and immediately right off the get-go, I knew what the gimmick was. It was making it sound early on like, yeah, Trixie and Starlight were such good friends. I anticipated that there was going to show a rift between them, and it was going to be a friendship building and bonding moment. It was going to show them having to overcome a challenge. I anticipated mentally that they were going to go through some sort of breakup deal, that like they were going to quit being friends. But I said that I hope that wouldn't be the case, because I don't like, honestly, I hate confrontation and I hate arguing and bickering, and so yeah, it hurt to see Starlight and Trixie arguing between one another. The only thing really is knowing that this would have had a happy ending and they would have been fine in the end. And so I had that to look forward to. And I'm glad they did work it out and that they didn't stay arguing and bickering. And of course, this setup with the two of them going on a road trip together is really natural. I mean, it's essentially the concept of, even if you're friends with somebody, you don't really know how you're going to be until you're put into a space with them together for a set period of time. And so they had never had the experience of having to room together, and so hear or be around each other and see some of the other aspects of each other's personality whenever it comes to traveling. And so upon that, they were able to, they saw how that was, and it kind of interfered with each other's ideas, because I mean, they hang out, yes, and they're used to that, but whenever they're put on the road and they have to try to get along, it's when it's at that moment that they begin to see the gimmicks. They begin to see how each other is with different things that they do. And so it begins to irk each other, and they begin to argue and bicker, but they were able to bond, and they were able to make amends, and become friends again. And what Trixie said at the end pretty much said it. I mean, and I love how blunt and meta that particular moment was whenever Trixie said that they weren't prepared for they weren't prepared for basically the emotional journey and the emotional challenges that they had to endure. And yeah, every friendship has those points where you're going to experience those emotional moments. And yeah, like Trixie and Starlight here, it's realistic in that they argued and bickered, and they ended up questioning their friendship, and they end up questioning each other's motives. And so yeah, I really I really see a natural sense here, a natural feeling and tone. I cannot look at this and say that it was me personally. I can't look at this and say that anything was exaggerated because it all felt real and natural in how that it handled and how that the characters acted as well. Of course, there was moments that played out for comedic effect, but it was still funny in how that it played out, and it still fit within the characters' personalities and their attitudes. They found out, of course, how each other were, and they found out pretty much. I don't know if that's a bad thing. Starlight saying that they learned pretty much don't go on a road trip together. I don't know if that's a bad thing or if that's a good thing. Because I think it would be cute to see them go on a road trip, and if they had a slightly larger space, or rather, heck, even if Starlight could get her own carriage and or caravan, and then they could travel together just in two different caravans, um, I think that would work. I think that would work. Or heck, if they not in Trixie's but in another larger one, I think that could work. So, is a friendship deal I mean, it is a friendship road trip between the two out of the question in the future? I don't think it's entirely ruled out. I think there's a possibility. I mean, first off, Starlight could easily sleep with. First off, Starlight and Trixie could both sleep with earplugs, just like I have before. Um, so they could sleep with earplugs, and they could just pack enough food and get enough food for each other. And they could get either they could use a larger caravan, not use Trixie's, but use a larger one, or Starlight could get her own. I mean, if they were planning on taking a road trip, she can invest in a motorhome, and they could both travel like that in two separate things, and so that could totally work. Um, but so I don't think that the concept of a friendship road trip is out of the question completely for them in the future. I think there is still a possibility. But they learn that there are some things about each other that might be annoying, but they respect that now, and they're not willing. They realize that, of course, they're two good friends, and they don't want to let those things get between them, and they're happier being friends than they are not being friends. And so again, there was a lot of build up earlier on throughout the episode of showing how good of friends that they were. And this actually was interesting because whenever they were going through the fire and flames, Q Dragon Force, they didn't even notice the heck literally that they were going through. They didn't notice all the challenges that they were overcoming. And that's a really good background thing going on, that they were able to overcome a lot of different things because they were close, because they were friends. But then whenever they separated and they began to try to do things on their own, that's whenever they realized that how much that they relied basically upon that friendship, and they were so used to hanging out and doing things together that they began to see that all these challenges that they were able to overcome so easily as friends suddenly became much harder with just one of them. And that's a really good thing, that if you think back, it's interesting to think about the challenges that you overcame as friends. And so yeah, that was a really interesting thing going on in the background. And like I said, I really love this episode. It's cute, it's sweet, and yeah, it's realistic in the concept of you put two people together, even if they're friends. Now, this is a saying that I've heard, and I'm not going to directly apply it to friends, but in a way, it kind of still works. You never really know someone until you live together. And I think that applies here. They pretty much were living together on the road, and they had to be closer to each other in closer proximity, and they had to see other aspects of how each other lived. And it was at that moment that they began to realize some of these things were kind of annoying each other. But they were able to, but again, even though it did irk them and annoy them, they were able to overcome those hurdles and make amends and still be friends. And like Trixie said at the end, this challenge just strengthened their friendship. And that's exactly true, because every single friendship has challenges that, I mean, you can't go through life, have a buddy, and not encounter trouble. It's a guarantee that you will. And they encountered a challenge. And the key thing is to focus on your friendship. And are you willing? How dedicated are you? Are you willing and strong enough to not let that hurdle ruin a good friendship? Are you strong enough and dedicated enough that you want to work things out, that you want to overcome those hurdles? How much does the friendship mean to you? And they were willing, they realized that, and so they were able to make amends. And so again, like Trixie said, this made them stronger as friends, and any hurdle that you overcome as friends usually will make you stronger. And this is now just a comical, maybe slightly bad memory, but still comical memory for them on the road. And yeah, this made them stronger. And like with any friendship, even if you're friends for a while, you'll still learn things about each other, you'll still make mistakes, and you'll still learn from those mistakes and learn not to make them again. So I would say both characters were completely natural in this episode, and I really love this episode for that. I love this episode. It was cute and sweet, and again, this this particular episode really goes to show the further how broad that this show is, because it's got so many characters now in this world that it can focus just one episode on a couple of other characters that is not originally supposed to be the main characters of focus. I mean, here we have an episode focusing solely on Starlight and Trixie, and it's still a highly entertaining, highly enjoyable, and lovely and beautiful episode. And it's still such a treat to watch, and I absolutely adore this episode. There's so many little things going on in this episode. There's so many things going on in this episode, both comedy-wise and adorableness-wise, and just, you know, natural storytelling-wise, that it just works, and I really adore this episode. And one other thing, of course, that I wanted to make a mention about, and I'm going to have to go over a few different aspects, starting with, okay, now, the other thing that I wanted to make a mention about was whenever, now, Starlight was, I'm not going to deny that, she was in the wrong for getting rid of Trixie's wagon. She was in the wrong for that. But, honestly, I've kind of seen a similar, I saw a similar gimmick before. But, yeah, Starlight was in the wrong because she got rid of Trixie's wagon without Trixie's consent. Yes, but that's kind of the setup here. And Trixie said that about the wagon was her best friend. You can relate to that if you like. You can relate to that if you have. I can relate to that if you have a vehicle, or maybe you have a motorhome or something. Trixie, this wagon was the one companion that she had whenever she was still traveling, whenever she was not on the best of, whenever she was not on the best side of Ponyville, whenever she was more or less, whenever she was Twilight's enemy, whenever she was Twilight's rival, whenever she was trying to showboat and even succeeded in enslaving Ponyville pretty much. The one steady companion that she always had was this wagon, was her caravan. And in a way, I can look at this and it just hit me. I see kind of a bit of a similarity here with the Doctor and the TARDIS. That no matter how many companions that the Doctor has had, the one steady companion that the Doctor has always had has been the TARDIS. And so it's understandable that Trixie, well, that the Doctor too, would be so fond and so attached to the wagon, to the TARDIS, because it's the one steady companion that has been there through thick and thin, through everything. And it's Trixie's home. It's her home on wheels. And so yeah, if I had a motorhome, I could relate to Starlight here, and sorry, to Trixie. And yeah, I mean, Starlight is Trixie's best friend, yes, but we know now. I know now that Trixie would do like whatever she could for Starlight, but still, in the beginning, there was this wagon. This was Trixie's home. This was her livelihood. This is part of the great and powerful Trixie. And like I said, above all, this is her home. And this is how she's lived on the road and in so many places for so long. She's not used to any such larger space. She's used to just this. And she's used to just this. And so yeah, I can understand Trixie's perspective here. Um and so Starlight was in the wrong for getting rid of it without asking Trixie about it. But then Starlight didn't understand the attachment that Trixie had to this caravan. She didn't understand the emotional attachment that she had, and she didn't understand its heritage. And it's what Trixie said about, yeah, it would never give you away. Yeah, it's understandable. And like I said, Starlight was in the wrong here. And I could even probably say that Starlight was kind of being selfish in a way. But at the same time, I can say that, well, she was trying to help, Trixie with a larger wagon. But like I said, I cannot, even though I can say that Starlight was in the wrong here for making a bad decision, I can say that I won't hold it against Starlight because she didn't understand. And that's kind of understandable. I mean, there are times whenever, like, for example, and I'm going to compare this to an automotive standpoint. For those of us who own a vehicle that we love, be it a classic, be it an antique, or just a vehicle that you love, we have an attachment to that vehicle. Others outside of that, however, they don't understand. They would ask us, hey, you could sell that, you can make a great amount of money out of it, why not sell it and get rid of it? They don't understand the emotional attachment that we have to that vehicle. They don't understand the memories that go along with that. And so, is it wrong to put these people is it wrong to put these people on the spot simply because they don't understand how we feel? No, it's just something that they themselves don't understand. And to be honest, a situation Trixie's never had to explain to Starlight before of why she's so attached to this I start to say motorhome or camper, to this caravan. It has never come up before, and it was honestly hurtful whenever Trixie began to cry whenever she realized that it was gone, and her livelihood, like her home, had been sold. It's understandable. I mean, and it hurt to see Trixie cry. And there's a couple different emotions going on here. First off, she's now homeless. Like, her home that she had lived in for so long, is now gone. And then there was the idea that her friend, the one pony that she thought she could trust, had just sold her home. And so, yeah, like, it hurt. And there was two different things going on here. And yeah, like, this girl's heart was breaking. And so, naturally, at this point, whenever she was on the brink, whenever she had reached her low, that's whenever things began. Whenever you're at the brink like this, whenever you reach your emotional limit, you're going to do and say things that are illogical, that typically would go against what you would normally do and say. You're going to make bad calls, you're going to do stupid things, you're going to say stupid things. You're running on adrenaline, and you're running high on emotion, and it can have a negative outcome. And so, yeah. But like I said, even though Starlight wasn't wrong for getting rid of Trixie's wagon without her consent, at the same time, I've seen kind of similar gimmicks like that before, where I don't remember the shows, but I remember something before, a couple of different things before, where someone would get rid of something that somebody else had that they cared about. Okay, like person A had something that they cared about, but person B did not know the attachment that they had to that, and so they would get rid of it without consulting with person A, and so person A would have to try to get it back. I remember seeing a similar setup to that. One particular setup I remember was in A Littlest Pet Shop, A World of Our Own, where Roxy ended up getting rid of, I think it was TikTok, Jade's favorite childhood toy. Jade naturally pretended that she didn't have an attachment to it, and so Roxy thought it was okay to get rid of it. And so then Jade had to try to get it back. That was just one example. There have been other examples in other things as well. So even though Starlight was wrong for getting rid of the caravan without consulting Trixie about it first, or even asking why is she so attached to it, at the same time I can't fault Starlight for it because it was, I have seen a similar setup before, and like I said, she didn't understand. She did not understand. She had not been told, and of course I'm not going to say completely that Trixie was completely out of I'm not going to say completely that Trixie was out of the woods on being completely innocent throughout the episode either. There were particular moments, like whenever they were waiting in line. Trixie had a particular, and again, I can't really say that completely because Trixie did have a certain booth that she went to, a certain vendor that she went to for food, and there was another place that did not have lines, and so yeah, you could have went to that one. Trixie was just used to going to that one, and so I can understand Trixie's perspective, but I can also understand Starlight's perspective. And you know, you're in a hurry, you probably shouldn't waste time at that one particular booth or that one particular vendor. Go to a one that has less lines. I can understand both perspectives here, and so I can see both perspectives, and I can see where they clashed. And then there's the fact of the rooms. And Trixie told Starlight that she should have called and got a reservation. Well, maybe so, but at the same time, Starlight was just suddenly asked about going on this trip. And so, how could she have known to get a reservation, thinking that that there would have been enough rooms? I mean, how could you have not thought that there would have been enough rooms? So yeah, it was. You could say I could say that this wasn't a completely well planned trip, and so that's why planning is always important. But again, it did have a really good resolve. Starlight and Trixie were able to make amends, and they were able to make up, and their friendship is overall stronger because of that. One thing that I have to question: this dude, just this guy, why was he following them the entire time? And I don't know if he's supposed to be a partial villain because he made them go through heck to try to get the wagon back, or if he's just supposed to be somebody who is wise and plays cocky and a bit arrogant just so they'll make amends. I'm not sure. But yeah, he was a good guy in the end. But yeah, I won't say he wasn't beginning to get annoying. I'm not going to deny that. And one other thing to point out as well is the fact with the sleep. Again, both characters kind of inside the wagon. Trixie had all this stuff that she said that she had been collecting for a long time, and I'm not sure how much value some of this stuff has, but I'm not going to deny. I mean, trying to think logically and trying to think further ahead, I wonder how much of this stuff Trixie, like, if she keeps collecting, at some point she's going to run out of room. And so where is she going to store stuff? I mean, it's essentially like a motorhome, like a camper. The more stuff you collect, it's going to get piled up at some point, and you're going to run out of room. And so I think it probably would be a good investment if Trixie did invest in a stationary location, or at least in some sort of shed or storage facility to store some of her stuff. That, I think, would honestly be a good financial investment um, for her. Because even though she's got a lot of stuff here, yes, there's still going to be other artifacts I'm sure that she's going to encounter along the way. And Starlight, and it, again, hits an interesting thing, because I can see a gimmick here. I can actually see a very familiar gimmick with Starlight. Sorry, Trixie sees sort of a collective value of sorts in all the stuff that she has here. Starlight doesn't see it, and honestly, I can relate to that. I feel I can relate to Starlight here, or sorry, I can relate to Trixie here, and I can also relate to Starlight because, for me, you know, I can collect, like, I can collect die-cast and resin cars, and somebody would look at it and say, "Why are you collecting that for? They're just toys." Or, actually, I had a guy at work tell me before. He said, at some point in the future, maybe about 10 years down the line, he expects that I will sell my entire collection. I said, no, I'm not. He said, yeah, it'll raise in value, and 10 years down the line, you'll sell it. And no, I'm not. And there, again, it's two different mentalities here at work. I really relate to Trixie here, because I've been in that situation before. You collect something that somebody else does not understand. They see it as junk, you see it as treasure. It's kind of the old saying, someone else's junk is someone else's treasure. And I've watched that show American Pickers before, and some of that stuff that some people look as junk, it's really nice collectibles. So yeah, I can see that. And so Starlight didn't think any of this stuff was worth anything, but there was an emotional there was an emotional attachment, or collective attachment to it, that Trixie had. So yeah. But again, Trixie was trying to sleep. Turns out Starlight snores. Okay, and then Trixie began to rehearse her, talk in her sleep. And so, yeah, both were kind of comical here. And I could say Trixie was a bit of a hypocrite. Like, she couldn't sleep with any noise, but here she is making noise as well. So, yeah. And that's kind of like where and so then Starlight ate the last hay cake, and then Trixie drank the last bit of juice. So yeah, so they were at this point they were trying to do things to get each other back, and yeah, but again, I have to say I really love this episode. It was a cute episode, it was a sweet episode, and it was a fun episode. And I love the road trip based things. And again, this did make me think about a Goofy movie, in the sense that Starlight and Trixie were kind of like Max and Goofy, and the wagon, or the caravan, was essentially the AMC Pacer. I mean, they even went into the water, just like the Goofs. They went into the water, except that was at a later point. And unlike a Goofy movie, they didn't go through a dangerous moment of life. They didn't go through a death-defying, life-saving moment. But like a Goofy movie, they worked it out in the end. And for Starlight and Trixie, they realized that they miss each other. Starlight realized she was wrong in getting rid of Trixie's wagon, and so they were able to make amends, make up, and realize that a road trip might not be for them, but I still say there's a possibility if they just make a few little adjustments. But I still say this was a cute episode, it was a sweet episode, and it was a relatable episode. And the characters did, I think, kind of make some... I mean, Starlight did make a bad choice. But then again, I've seen that play out before, and I can honestly relate to that. I can relate to both characters' perspectives here. And so, yeah. And likewise, I can, like a cousin of mine, like, even though I collect die-cast cars, I collect model kits, and I collect some Disney items and things like that, some MLP items, I can look at something else that somebody would collect, like baseball cards or something, and myself, it's not my thing. And so I would never start collecting baseball cards or anything, because I have no interest in baseball. And somebody that might collect stamps or something, some things I would look at, some things I'm sure I could look at and say, like, for me personally, I'd look at it and say, I don't see why you collect that. But at the same time, I also understand that there's a collective value in it. Well, back before I really started collecting die-cast and resin cars, I too, like, whenever I was younger, I remember a cousin and my mom used to collect the Virginia Turner, a cousin and my mom used to collect the Virginia Turner and Lee Middleton dolls. And whenever I was younger, I remember I used to look at it and say, I don't think to myself, I don't know why you collect those. Whenever I got older, though, when I started collecting things myself, I began to understand about it. And so, yeah, this is one of those moments for Starlight where she didn't see the collective value and stuff that Trixie had obtained, nor did she see she didn't see anything with Trixie's caravan. But yeah, that was some. But of course, like I said, that had never been brought up. Trixie had never explained it to her in detail about why she was so fond of it, why she was so attached to it. She never explained it about why. She never took Starlight aside and showed her some of the stuff that she collected, where she got it at, its history, its heritage. She never really explained that. So again, I would say kind of, Starlight didn't understand because she just didn't understand. Trixie hadn't explained it to her. So yeah, I would say there was a bit of a mutual disagreement. There was a mutual thing going on here. But again, I adored this episode. It was cute, it was fun, it was sweet, and it was a great episode. And I'm very happy that Trixie and Starlight worked things out in the end. And of course, they're stronger as friends because of it, and I love that. I absolutely love that. Of course, there are some things I want to go over with the episode itself. Is that this is the first time we've actually seen, in quite some time, we've seen Cadance in Ponyville, and she's got Flirty Heart with her as well. So yeah, first time we've seen that in a long time. And so to actually see her there is interesting. And of course, I could wonder where is Shining. He's probably busy with royal duties, and this is just a mother and a daughter outing. And of course, we get to see the sunshine ladybugs awake deal between Cadance and Twilight, which is really adorable. And so it's adorable to see that still going on between them, and you still got that sisterly bond, but still. Again, I'm also glad, honestly, that Flirty Heart didn't play very much of a part in this at all. Just was more of a hair accessory to Cadance, and wasn't actually doing anything. Just hanging around. Yeah. And there was another thing that I noticed as well. Teleportation, of course, is something that's... I know that Twilight, in the very beginning, whenever she began to do teleportation, it was accidental. She found herself cornered. I think it was with the Grand Galloping Gala. Episode 26, Season 1. She found herself... I think it was that episode. She found herself in a bit of a pickle. Kind of barricaded with other ponies who wanted to go to the gala. And so... No, sorry, it wasn't the Grand Galloping Gala. It was Ticketmaster, which was, I think, episode 3 of Season 1. and she had the tickets, and she managed to use teleportation, but she didn't intend to. And we've seen later on, of course, Twilight did adapt and managed to use teleportation a bit, but she hasn't used it very much. She hasn't used teleportation very much, and of course Starlight here was able to use it very, like, a lot easier. She was able to just in a poof herself to the school. So yeah, but again, she does know how to use teleportation, which is interesting that they're able to actually do that so easily. And obviously Starlight has more magical prowess than Twilight does, so yeah, she probably has more of a knack for it, of teleporting herself without actually, dislocating any internal organs. And I have to say, this was an adorable Trixie episode. This was an absolutely adorable Trixie episode. And if Trixie moonwalks, I mean, and again, this further shows that ponies, I think, are capable of walking on their hind legs just fine, but they're so used to walking on all fours. And again, I just wonder how the fan art will take advantage of Trixie and this pole camper here. And again, fuzzy floofy hair, Trixie, cute. And for Starlight here, I have to say, her packing accessories, I love this. 3 1,000-piece puzzles. If you've ever put one of those together, they're freaking hard. Especially if you lose that one piece. It's a nightmare. And of course, she has a copy of Dragon Pit. She says the greatest game ever made. Board game, totally. Yes. And again, the concept of these two being in such a small motorhome, it's cute. Or like a pole camper. It's adorable. It's adorable. This was such a cute episode. And seeing Trixie trying to get comfortable in this, it's just adorable. I mean, this is just so cute. I mean, it's just so freaking cute. Seeing these two try to get comfortable here. We have the little song, and this is the first time we actually have a song. This is the first time that Starlight and Trixie has done a song together, and it was such a cute little song. It was such a cute little ditty. And I gotta say, Trixie can sing as well as Starlight. So I love this. It was so cute and sweet to be able to hear them sing a song together. I loved it. It was just so cute. It was adorable that Starlight is pretty much like the Snoopy of Ponyville here. She's just sitting up on top of this. That's cute. And again, little moments I gotta say was so cool to watch. Them going around Ghastly Gorge and using magic to get around Ghastly Gorge without falling to their death. And then it's just funny that they fall, of course. They land in the water. Again, this is where I said it was like Goof Troop. And the inflatable raft did come in handy, so that was good preparedness on Starlight's deal. And of course, again, it's cute. This is just so cute. Then I said that where they fell into the water, then suddenly they're in, I have no idea where. I said, oh great, they did die, and they went to heck. Good job. Oh, I didn't notice that face. That's cute. But yeah, here they are, just singing, laughing as they make their way through the underworld. And we got to see these little characters again as well. We got to see these two little male ponies as well again, and I adored these characters whenever I first saw them. It's adorable to see them as well. It's just so cute, and I love this little bit as well. Whenever Starlight turns full Jane here, and she begins swinging to manage just to stand on their hind legs up on this tree. No big deal, except for the fact that the wagon was still behind them. And yeah, walking so close to a poisonous scorpion. Hey, at least it's not a rad scorpion. Or gosh, or even worse, an albino red scorpion. If this was an albino red scorpion, they'd be effed. I love this bit whenever Starlight makes a mention about the buddy movie where the two protagonists are attached to each other, and they can't they can't get away and they have to. It's like a forced bonding deal. First off, okay, I love that bit. I love that bit. Second, there's a few things that I have to question. So Starlight said where the two protagonists are put together. That was foreshadowing, wasn't it? That was foreshadowing. That's saying these two characters, the two protagonists, they weren't like handcuffed or tied together, but they were still stuck together, and they had to bond. But it's also funny where Starlight makes mention about the buddy movie. I'm wondering, like, where the concept of buddy movie. Okay, I mean, we've seen these characters. They have strange technology. I'll just be blunt. This world has interesting technology. It has interesting technology. They don't have phones, but they have electricity. They don't have fully operational vehicles, but they do have a train that runs on its own. And before, they were able to make parade floats that were able to move on their own. They have electricity that they can just clap their hooves and the lights go on and off. They have a fully working oven that can heat things. But, like, we haven't seen any movies in this. So, again, it's interesting the technology that we've seen in the show. And with the advancement in the technology that we've seen in this show, it's interesting that we haven't seen anything else. But, yeah, I'm wondering, where did they watch? This sets up so much potential for stuff. Like Starlight having gone to a movie, to a movie theater. Oh gosh, can you imagine? Oh my gosh, I'd love to do a fic about that. Where Starlight and Sunburst get suckered by some, like Discord. Discord gets some tickets to a movie. He doesn't tell them what it is. He tells them go watch it. They go inside the theater, and it's Sausage Party, and Starlight and Sunburst have to sit through Sausage Party. And oh my gosh, can you imagine their faces coming out of that? Oh man, that will be fun. That will be so comical. But again, I'm just wondering, like, where is movies here in Equestria? I'd like to see that bit. Here, it's interesting as well. I love that Trixie is actually portrayed to actually have being a sort of a planning and conservative type, because here she is wanting to conserve their bits for the trip, and Starlight got what looked like a nacho or a taco. But I'm just kind of wondering, like, wouldn't they both have? I mean, like, if they put some of their bits both together, wouldn't they have have enough bits to be able to do whatever? Trixie said she always buys her hay cakes at this one particular booth, and I'm wondering, could she and this one guy have a thing together? Maybe that's why. Because this other guy, now think about it, I mean, this guy, he does look friendly. And Trixie has this, this face. Is she looking at the hay cakes? Is she thinking about them, or is she thinking about putting syrup on something else? And Starlight does make a mention about this other guy. This other guy does not have any business, but then he doesn't look really friendly either. But then again, he just has hay cakes. I mean, this other guy, look over here. He doesn't really look the friendliest. And he just got a sign for hay cakes on his sign, but this guy has like wheat, looks like fruit, and such. So yeah, I can see him having. So he's probably the more favored person of interest here in town. And again, I love that we've seen the same inn that Daring and Rainbow and Pinky went to in this episode. I love that we're back there. Oh, I just noticed this other little character here on the bottom, like this dude and this chick here having dinner together. Oh, that's sweet. That's cute. And I gotta slow it down for the rooms. And of course, over here, I'm wondering about this room. Because you got this guy here, you got this guy and this chick over here on the right, and this one chick over here on the left. She's giving him a particular look. And the way this room is set up, I don't know if Starlight or Trixie would want to sleep in that room anyway. I'm just saying, I don't know. And this moment, particularly with Trixie or Starlight, we're here trying to sleep and kind of bouncing up and down in this right here. I kind of thought about that one Donald Duck cartoon where Donald was trying to sleep outside, and there was the rock that was poking up through his stomach. And Starlight here kind of looks like, yeah, like with her hooves kind of crossed the left, she's either trying to be a mummy or she's preparing for death. And honestly, whenever it starts showing this colored, these colored cloths falling, I honestly thought like that would have been actually really comical if that had been a constant gimmick going on throughout the rest of the episode where they just keep falling and falling and falling, and then, pardon me, then it cuts to another scene of them and it's still going and going and going. That actually would have been, I think, comical to have done that. And I saw this right here. Somebody posted this over on Facebook, this scene, and I'm like, oh, so that's where the Super Mario stars went. Like, oh, I get it. After Mario defeated Bowser, Trixie somehow went to the Mushroom Kingdom, got the stars, and took off with them. So now Mario's probably chasing after Trixie because he wants the Power Stars, and Trixie has them. And like I said, I want there to be a setup where I'd love to see a setup where Starlight and Sunburst go on a road trip together. And it will be cute. I can imagine that. A very cute scene where like they're trying to sleep, but it turns out, like, I can imagine that something happens and Starlight ends up rolling over on top of Sunburst. That would be both kind of awkward but adorable and funny. And I love this little early morning scene of them here. I love this little early morning scene, the nice shadows that are being cast here. This is really beautiful and serene. I love it. I love this kind of scenery here. This little bit where Trixie's just like, you want my wagon, you're going to have to run over me with it. I love this little bit here with her. It's adorable. And yeah, it's I mean, I can look at it and say, like, Trixie, what is going through your mind, girl? But at the same time, it's just cute. It's just cute. Another thing also to point out, that I have to point out, is these little characters here, these little male ponies. Oh, they're so cute. And oh my gosh, I love their voices. I love their voices. They're just so, the voices just fit them, and they're just so cute. And also, I love the fact that they made up. I was hoping that they would have these characters make up. I was really hoping they would have these characters make up because I didn't want to see them bickering and arguing. I wanted to see these characters make up. I'm so glad that they did because it just fits. I love that. Yay! Thank you for having these two little characters make up. But again, they're cute and I love their voices. Their voices just fit them and I love it. I love how they just they made a boat. They made a boat using the mail and they're just riding down the river. That's cute. I love that. This bit, whenever Trixie says, deep friends who bond, who are not prepared for the emotional challenges of traveling. I love how blunt that was. I love that. I also love how here Trixie is just standing on her hind hooves and she's just hunched over. That's cute. But again, they made up in the end, and they were able to reconcile with each other. They were able to make amends, and they were able to work things out, and still be friends, and be even closer than they were. So again, I really enjoyed this episode. It was cute, it was sweet, and it was a really fun episode. It was really cute, and I absolutely loved this episode. And again, I can relate to both characters, and I love that, both characters are still friends, both characters are still the main highlight characters, are still protagonists. But again, it's one of those episodes where, like, you see what the characters do, you realize, yeah, they made a mistake, but then again, it's easy to make that mistake. But again, I really love this episode. So again, everybody that worked on this episode, Hasbro, DHX, everybody that worked on this episode, thank you all so much for doing this episode. It's really cute. It's very sweet. Thank you so much for doing it. It's a great episode. And also, again, thank you guys again for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed. And hopefully I will see you guys in the next video that I do. Take care.